How do you like to get the ball setting off right of target, shaping from right to left, hitting that baby draw? But unfortunately, you might be one of those golfers who really struggles to draw the ball, constantly hitting fades, really struggling for distance. Well, if that's the case, today's video, I'm going to show you in 3 simple steps how to turn your slice into a draw. So you might have tried to draw the ball lots of times in the past, but like I said in that introduction, by the end of today's video, guarantee you're going to get that ball shaping right to left, but most importantly, you're going to get the ball setting off right of target to then draw back. Now, unfortunately though, most of you probably hit an iron shot a little bit more like this. And we can see that high, cutting out to the right, 143-yard carry, 147 total. And if we look at the numbers there for TrackMan, we can see the club face was 11.7 degrees open or pointing to the right of the path. And the club path was moving 10.4 degrees left, so out to in. But we can see the ball set off fairly much on target there and faded out to the right. Now, the big thing you need to improve initially if you're going to get the ball drawing is you need to stop the ball curving from left to right. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to deliver the club face in a very, very different position. So at the moment, that club face is open and working across the golf ball, giving that slight glancy blow. So what we're going to do initially is we're going to try and hit some shots and really exaggerate getting the club face as close as possible, even if the path doesn't change for now. So I'll always say to golfers, set yourself up, even rehearse where you'd like to feel the club face to be, so as far left as possible, and then try and hit that shot. You can see that one curving round to the left. And obviously for me, that's not a tough shot. We can see the club face there, 13.7 degrees left. My path was actually very, very slightly from the inside. Low point nearly 5 inches ahead, but we can see a lot longer shot. Now, when I talk about trying that with golfers, I think the problem I see with a lot of golfers is actually they understand they're trying to get that club face to close through impact, but very often they're doing it too late. Because I'll work on this in lessons and I'll say, right, get that club face as left as possible. And they still hit that shot over to the right, very like this. And they'll say, that's still drifting over to the right. And that club face was 9 degrees open. But they'll say, I definitely felt like the club face was closing. But the problem is, they kind of try to close it too late. And very often, the club face might have been better than that one I showed you before that was 13.7 open. So it's more closed than that, but still wide open because they're trying to do all the work here. Now, when you watch the best players in the world, what they're very, very good at doing with their little draw shot is on the way down, they're already closing that club face earlier. So majority of amateur golfers I see, halfway down, that club face will be wide open, that toe will be pointing back behind them. Whereas tour players are already feeling that that logo on the glove is starting to get more out in front. That right hand is starting to get more on top of the golf club. And because they close the club face earlier, it's a lot easier to get that club face more closed at impact. Now, obviously, it's not just about club face, is it? But if you don't get club face right, there's no point in changing path. Because if your club face is open to the path and you swing even more to the right, well, for me, I'd just hit the camera. So if you're somebody who is trying that and you're working along watching this video on the range and you're saying, I'm trying to close it, but they're still going right. Try that feeling of on the way down, you want to feel, and it's different for everybody. Is it trying to get the logo on the glove more out in front rather than to the sky, or trying to get that right hand or trail hand more on top of the shaft? Have that as a little bit of a practice. Now for me, that feels incredibly closed. So let's hit a shot and let's see by closing the club face earlier, do we manage to get a desired club face? So you can see that one curving way left. And again, 13.4 degrees closed. Now obviously that might be more exaggerated than we are looking for, But I'm a big believer that if you can exaggerate that feeling, well then you can dial it back a little bit and get a bit more control. Now, that moves us on to second point, which for me is trying to get, instead of the club path working left, which I think a lot of the time is because of that club face, is now trying to get that club working more from the inside and out to the right. And we saw there, even with changing the club face, there was already a little change. Now, if you're working this on the driving range, get a basket, put your club down, in line with the target on the outside of the ball, and just pop the basket, say, maybe 12 inches behind the ball. You can go a little bit closer if you really, really wanted to. So I'm going to make it a bit more challenging for myself. And what we've got to feel is as we swing down, we're going to miss that basket. Because if I swing from out to in, I'll clean the basket out, maybe get the ball as well, but we don't want to sacrifice any baskets in here, do we? So we're going to start off with that first one. Aim nice and straight. Still going to have that feeling of kind of the club face being much stronger on the way down, but I'm going to try and swing the club much more from the inside to miss that basket. And we can see there, very different shape of shot. Obviously still a lot of shape, but that path now 10.6 degrees from the inside, club face 8 degrees closed, and all of a sudden, if you're somebody who fades the ball, we're starting to get a little bit excited about that, aren't we? So we're going to, again, get that ball so that the outside edge is in line with the basket. I'm happy that that's probably about 8 inches behind for me. I'm quite comfortable with that. If you're not as comfortable, a little bit further back to begin with, but then challenge yourself by moving it a little bit closer. So again, we're going to miss the basket with that nice closed club face. And we can see again there, 9 degrees from the inside, club face 9 degrees closed. So that one setting off slightly right of target, but missing quite a bit to the left. Now, the final bit, and you might not need this actually, but what I see with a lot of golfers when they're trying to close that club face is that as they're coming down, they kind of keep the weight back and kind of almost flip the club to get it there. And even though my low point was ahead of the golf ball there, maybe it wasn't quite as far ahead as I would like. So what we want to feel is obviously once we get to the top of that backswing, we shift hard into that left side, but feeling that the sternum stays behind. So you're still maintaining that angle into the golf ball. As you push into that lead leg, that's going to move your low point ahead. Nice strong club face and from the inside. And as a result of that, we should see actually the low point move forward and the ball set off a little bit further right. Because what I tend to see with golfers is if I were to swing fairly straight with my weight 50-50, I would touch the mat around the middle of my stance. The more from the inside or to the right I go, I tend to catch further back. So that's where that shift of pressure moves that low point forward. So now I've got those three little things to focus on, and I do appreciate I'm running through this quite quickly in the video. Might be something that you can't do quite as quickly in real time. So it might be a case of a practice session on club face when that's starting to feel more comfortable, then a little bit on path, and I'm going to take the basket away in a minute because there's no point in being good with the basket, not being able to do it without. And that final one of shifting into that lead side. So let's get the ball in the right place. Got my little areas to focus on. Didn't quite strike it, was a little bit thin, but we see the path was good. Club face was great, and the low point was a little bit further forward. So let's try one more, because the basket is definitely a bit of a distraction, but it's okay. It needs to be, to make sure we're exaggerated enough. So from there, that's a much better strike. Low point 2 inches ahead, path 9 degrees from the inside, club face 4.7 closed, and 182 carry and 196 total. Now, some nice little building blocks there, but I can do it when that's there. When I play, that's not going to be there. So let's now see, without the basket being an influence, can I have that nice strong club face? Can I shift into that lead side? And can I swing from the inside? So that's the challenge. So I'm aiming straight at target. I'm not manipulating anything with where I'm aiming. And we're going to get there, focus on what I need to do. And that felt as good as I can hit it. We see the path 7.6 degrees from the inside. Club face 2.9 degrees closed. Low point 1.9 ahead. Carry 184 and total 195. First step then is to improve that club face. If that club face is open, you've got to get it more closed at impact. And like I said, a lot of golfers are trying to do it too last minute. So do it earlier in that downswing. And if you can get that club face closed, that gives you the opportunity then to work on that path. If you've got something like a basket at the driving range or a water bottle or something, use that to encourage the path more from the inside. But like I said, just be very careful from those first two steps that you don't miss that last one of making sure you shift your pressure correctly into your lead leg. That'll give you that strike, and you could see towards the end there, lovely draws, good distance, and just incredibly simple, maybe not easy, to turn that slice into a draw. So if you've enjoyed today's video, like and share it, comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. There's a video just there that I think will help you with your game. Stay in contact.